think, President Obama approached a lot of the issues from a very analytical point of view, wanting to have as much of the facts as possible, but also realizing that you would probably never have all of the information that you really wanted, and that you were always making decisions under uncertainty. But that did not mean that you didn't have to make a decision at the end of the day. I would say that over the course of the 15 or 20 years that I've been involved with cybersecurity, some of the biggest changes have been the professionalization, if you will, of cybercrime. If your image of the cyber criminal is still the guy in the hoodie living in his mother's basement, that's not really the type of adversary we face. Today, cyber criminals are highly organized. They run it like a business. It's diversified, they're specialized, different groups carry out different pieces of the process, and they're very interconnected and highly developed. My joke is they've definitely read their Harvard Business School cases, they've read their Adam Smith, and they really run these operations like a business. And that's probably been the single biggest change. Probably another change that I would highlight is that many nations have now discovered that carrying out operations in cyberspace is beneficial to them from a national security or foreign affairs standpoint, foreign policy standpoint. So there are considerably more actors in cyberspace than there used to be. That said, for the United States and most of Western Europe, the primary adversaries actually remain the same: Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. And it's actually remarkable how stable those sets of adversaries have been over the last 15 to 20 years. When you talk about strengthening your cybersecurity strategies, it's usually good to start with the basics. In other words, start with what is it that you're actually trying to do? Because you're not just strengthening your cybersecurity to protect the machines, you're strengthening your cybersecurity to protect your business. And so that's why I think it's important to make sure that you've got the basics in place, meaning the foundational activities. So start with a management framework, something like the NIST cybersecurity framework that helps you think about how to approach cybersecurity from an executive standpoint. So you've got to know what assets you have, what assets you want to protect, why you're protecting them. And then you're also thinking a little bit about what you are trying to protect them from. Then do you have the capabilities in place to protect those assets, whether that's the data, the personal information of your customers and clients, your intellectual property? Can you protect those systems? Can you detect if you have an intrusion that is active or if something is going wrong? How fast? How do you have a response plan? So how can you respond to that incident? And then how can you recover from that incident if one occurs? And then underlying all of this is your governance structure. How are you setting up to actually manage cybersecurity in your business? And you'll notice that in this laydown, I didn't really talk about technology specifically. Technology is a piece of it, but it is only one piece of the puzzle. And so, in fact, actually, the solution for many businesses may, in fact, be changing processes or adopting new policies or looking at their organization differently. It may, in fact, not involve buying a new piece of technology. It may even involve retiring some old technology. So I very much approach cybersecurity from a holistic point of view, from a managerial point of view, and it's not really an impossible problem to take on. And even the last bit of advice I would give is that even small improvements in cybersecurity can dramatically reduce your risk. And so it's really important to focus on those basic steps and not worry when you're getting started, in particular, about the really sophisticated high-end threats, because that's not what most companies face. I think that working for President Obama was really amazing from a whole variety of standpoints. But in terms of shaping how I think about risk management, it's really about how you approach cybersecurity as a risk problem, just like you approach, say, litigation risk or brand risk or risks of natural disasters or other things. You try to buy down that risk. You try to mitigate that risk as much as possible. You try to hedge against, unforeseen, unknowable events, and then you try to put in place structures to move that risk around, like, for example, setting up cyber insurance. And then some you just have to accept at the end of the day, and be prepared to manage it if the risk actually materializes, when the risk materializes. But very much, I think, President Obama approached a lot of the issues from a very analytical point of view, wanting to have as much of the facts as possible, but also realizing that you would probably never have all of the information that you really wanted, and that you were always making decisions under uncertainty. But that did not mean that you didn't have to make a decision at the end of the day. So it's interesting. I think when you talk about emerging technologies, what most people really mean these days is artificial intelligence. Although the truth is, we've actually had AI and machine learning systems around for quite some time. And what I would say is that they're going to affect, that particular set of technologies are going to affect cybersecurity in several different ways. Although it's actually not clear right now whether they will favor the intruder or whether they will favor the defender. For almost everything that you can think of that you could do, say, for the intruder, writing better phishing emails, you can also use those technologies to identify those phishing emails more accurately. Or, if you're searching for vulnerabilities to exploit, the bad guys can do that, but so can the good guys. So it's not clear yet how some of those technologies will affect cybersecurity in the long run. It is entirely possible that it will actually favor the defender, and that they will enable us to eliminate whole classes of vulnerabilities. That said, there are other kinds of emerging technologies too. Quantum computing is imminently on the horizon. That will have some profound effects on things like encryption, but also our ability to solve certain kinds of very hard problems, like routing issues across the internet, which are notoriously difficult for classical computers to deal with. So that could also have some profound effects on organizations needing to really increase what's called their crypto agility, meaning their ability to change out cryptographic algorithms, how they do their encryption very rapidly, when a working quantum computer emerges. And there are still yet other emerging technologies, connected systems, biophysical systems that are integrated. And all of these will continue to make the cybersecurity landscape more complex and more difficult than it is today.